Hey guys, Dave with Nerdarchy here, for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with the Nerdarchy crew. Who are you guys? Sound off.
Nate.
Ryan.
And I'm Ted.
So today we're going to talk about a game that we're going to be running Thanksgiving Eve. And there's two different things that happen to make this game come together. You know, first off...
Thanksgiving, and nobody has to go anywhere the next day. That's one of the first and foremost.
Right? All right. Third thing.
Yeah.
But, okay, so here's the deal, right? Last week, I think it was, Matt Click, also, you guys might be familiar with him from A Fistful of Dice, his YouTube channel, did a video about, he's going to be running a D&D 5e Spelljammer game. I'm like, man, that sounds like a lot of fun. I want to play in a D&D 5e Spelljammer game. So I don't have no one who's going to run it, so I'm like, maybe I should run that one of these days. And then I kind of tabled it. Well, some of you guys may know our buddy Mark, who games with us from time to time and appears on the videos. Well, he had sent me a text a while last week about getting together for Thanksgiving Eve.
Well, for years we've been gaming on the Wednesday before, just because none of us have to get up early and go to work.
Have we? I know we do sometimes.
It's been the last 3 or 4 years.
But I have a confession to make. I ignored his text. I never responded to it. I was just real busy and crazy work schedule and tabled it.
He doesn't even know yet?
No, he called me. He's like, dude, don't you call him back? I'm like, you never called me. Well, he's like, I texted you. I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, Thanksgiving Eve is the partyingest night of the year.
So what are we going to do?
So let's get the party together. I'm like, all right. And I'm thinking, I'm like, how do you feel about playing Spelljammer?
He's like, what's that?
He's like, what's that?
I'm like, Space Jam? Are we going to play basketball against aliens?
No, against Looney Tunes.
Right.
We're the aliens? Great.
Yeah. So I'm like, so I kind of explained to him. He's like, I don't care, I'll do that. And I'm like, well, what level you want to be? He's like, we're always low level. Let's be higher level. And I'm like, well, what level you want to be? He's like, at least 8th or 9th. I'm like, all right, I'll do 8th. And then I was talking, and I so I'm sending out text messages, making phone calls, and I tell Ted one thing, I tell Ryan something different.
So he's lying to all of us.
He called me and he said, "Oh, we know. Maybe we'll make it 9th."
Yeah.
So I call up Ted. It's 9th, Ted. It's 9th.
And I blame that on Andrew Knapp, right?
Fistful spells.
Because
why do you blame that on Andrew Knapp? SR2 Joker, by the way.
Yeah, great YouTube channel. Check it out. He likes to kill shit too in real life. You can go to his channel.
He's a legit hunter.
Yeah. You can figure out what that really means.
Yeah.
But no. So we played in the Meat Grinder at BrigadeCon, 7th level characters. I'm like, well, if I go 8th, that's only one level past Andrew.
So you wanted to double up. Go one up twice.
Yeah, one up twice.
Double one up.
But so,
well, moving to 9th, you wind up getting into 5th level spells. You get the +4 proficiency bonus.
Mm-hmm.
You get essentially that double stat boost, or 4th and 8th, if you wanted to just take one level of splashing into something else. So it offers a lot of different unique, statistic, character choices.
playability. I wanted to test out different playabilities for 5e that we haven't checked out yet. Okay, so that's that part of it. Now, Spelljammer. So what does this really mean? I don't actually know anything about Spelljammer, to be honest with you. I know it's ships flying through space, and it's D&D in space, and that's where I'm going with it.
When I looked at it at first, I'm like, okay, as far as I was aware of Spelljammer, I just had assumed it was D&D rules in space, and science fiction was going to have to be a part of it. And I'm like, well, most characters don't willingly choose to go down the path of, I want to be the mechanic, I want to be the one to fix stuff. So I was leaning towards that. And you're like, well, have you read Spelljammer? Do you know how the ships work?
The spells, the Spelljammer, the whole thing, it's just a giant magic item, basically.
Yeah. Essentially, it is.
There's no engineering.
You've got a ship, and you've got this magic item that takes it, through the. I'm
like, God damn it, Ted! It's not Firefly. You cannot be what's her face.
Yeah, it's not Firefly.
Well, a lot of them are hot.
Yeah.
But
I really like Kaylee though.
Kaylee.
I can't.
Yeah, Ted. God damn it, Ted! You can't be Kaylee. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a thought. So once I read up on Spelljammer, you've got this magic item that is piloted with magic, and I was like, okay, so that doesn't necessarily need to be happened. So how else can I become useful? Yeah, so I started looking at what other tool proficiencies might be useful, to a ship. And what do you know? I'm a cartographer or a shipwright. I've got the ability to fix the ship as well as know, maps and stellar, patterns and whatnot. So, yay, I'm still useful.
Although I think navigation would go better with cartography.
Cartography.
Yeah, I would say so.
But that's just my opinion. So, or navigation with shipwright.
You'd be the map reader.
Well,
and
wouldn't
the map
wouldn't it
and-
basically just be navigation would be survival, and then cartography?
No, there's navigator's tools.
Oh.
So that's actually like a thing unto itself. So,
Separate from.
so here's the deal, right? I want you guys to talk about your characters a little bit, but okay, we need a name for a ship. We're gonna need that
The Enterprise.
between now and Wednesday, and I still haven't decided if you guys are going to be actually captaining the ship, or if there's going to be an NPC captain. I'm going to do a variant on the Spelljammer helmsman, and I was thinking of making an NPC for the helmsman, so that I don't have to have players worried about flying.
Using spells to make it
Yeah,
work.
to drain party resources just to get places, basically.
Yeah. So I'd rather have a guy and make him interesting. So if you guys want to put together ideas for the ship and the helmsman between now and then, you can do that. You can consort with whoever else is going to be playing in the game.
I'd say we have some of our viewers give us some opinions on what the ship should look like.
Yeah.
Or what
Well, it
should be
depends
called.
on how fast this video goes up too.
Yeah.
Oh yes, this is true.
Yeah.
You might
Well,
know
yeah.
all
Well, I
that.
could put this one up Monday, and then
Yeah.
you guys could weigh in and let us know
Yeah,
what you guys
this way
think.
we'll have a day and a half or so.
Now, let me say something too. Like, if you want something that's gonna be closer and truer to actual Spelljammer, you guys out there, go check out whatever Matt Click's doing, because that's not what you're gonna get here. Really, it's gonna be kind of like D&D in space, and I may take some of this stuff from Spelljammer, but ultimately, I've been playing like this straight up fantasy trope for so long that I just want to mix it up a little bit, and this seems like a fun way to do it.
Well, the
Absolutely.
traditional Spelljammer holes are kind of just whatever.
It's
I mean,
like
they
a
could look like
galleon.
a giant squid.
Well,
they could
it's,
look like
it's organic, or it's like a galleon, like a regular ship that would be in the water in space.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, you could have it look like a ship that's just flying through space. You could have it look like some kind of creature, like a griffin or something, just flying through space. It's all just kind of whatever you want to make it to be.
Well,
So-
I kind of want it to be a ship.
Okay.
Like, I still want to go with ships. I like that idea.
Right, like a nautical.
It would be
ship.
very
Yeah.
useful if it was a ship that could also be an airship when you're on regular, like when you're actually on a planet. You could use
When
it
you're
like that.
when you're around the groundlings, I think that's what they call the people that don't go out of their atmosphere or whatever. Like,
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah.
So the whole little link.
What are you
so-
What are you guys thinking of playing anyway?
Well, I decided in one of the other videos we shot earlier that I was going to do the luckiest man alive. I'm going to do
The luckiest half man
the
alive.
luckiest half man alive. I was going to do the halfling with the diviner for the wizard diviner class. So.
Okay.
And probably take luck as one of my things, lucky.
Your feats,
So that's going to like stack the
stack the cards.
stack the cards to my advantage, hopefully. And
Dude,
one will never
actually-
grace the table before you.
yes,
A
the one
nice-
is not allowed.
Well, I mean, a nice little thing with that too is if you make him also a gambler, because like he, can
Well, yeah,
kinda, you can
yeah.
kind of use it to cheat.
Yeah, well, you've got the space. You've got the kind of because it's ship.
Well,
You
like
have
yeah,
that
like
kind of,
I'm
like,
almost thinking like almost
We
a
go to
little bit-
ports. I gamble. I
the-
learn different games.
A little bit like the Western thing, where like the player piano in the background and like,
Do you have an idea for a background?
Probably would be kind of like an explorer kind of person in the sense of he's cool with going on to the next thing.
Well,
So
no,
once-
I mean mechanical.
Oh, mechanical. I kind of want it to be. It might be where I was always doing. Like I said, he's be an explorer, so he would be going from port to port.
So you could take Sailor,
And-
you could take Outlander.
Yeah, I was thinking sailor or outlander, and with sailor, I don't know what kind of things you get. I feel like I know my way around a ship, but it necessarily won't help me in space. But that kind of like that.
Well,
there's some
some-
things that carry over.
Yeah, a lot of them will carry over just because, it's part of the setting that we're playing in, right? Whatever that Amorpheus thing is, so, your characters will all be familiar with spell jamming.
Yeah. So basically, could be a sailor on some kind of planet. I don't really care where. I don't. Oh, it's planets. Yeah. So don't really care where he was from, but the idea that he's always been kind of like going on to the next thing. And one of the things that he found as commonality was gambling games of chance and all those kind of things. So he found that he had a natural knack for it. He did get some. Through all of his travels, he did start collecting different
I
oddities
see him
like
as
scrolls.
as a card sharp, a little bit of a card sharp on top of being a caster.
So with that commonality of there's always gambling in games everywhere.
criminal background.
he continued doing that, but he also started collecting oddities like magic scrolls and magic spell books. And so he's partial collector, partial. Well,
Maybe he
he's all
gambles for
gambler.
them. Maybe he always tries to gamble for that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
well, I mean, when you're gambling the pants off somebody, you're like, pants or that cool thing you've got that I don't know what it does and you don't know what it does.
The
So
flux capacitor.
yeah, so getting scrolls, getting different spell book. I would see him as having like a collection in his room,
A trophy room.
like a trophy room of like 10 or 12 different books that might have like a few of the different spells that he's learned over the years, and. That's how he kind of got into magic spellcasting in general. He bet somebody to, like, basically bet money against the guy training him and showing him how to use the actual books he's been collecting. So once the guy saw his room, I think they became good friends. And once the guy saw his room, he said, "Oh, you've got like a whole bunch of, you got a magic library here." He's like, "Oh, really?" So
Didn't you just come up with this during our last video?
yeah.
You need to talk more in our videos. You have way too much time on your hands.
Well, I just came up with this. Wow, I'm kind of like shooting from the hip right now with his backstory.
Nice, I'm holding you to it.
Yeah.
So I think
we
that's
got
all cool.
recorded.
What do
Yeah,
you
right.
think?
Yeah.
Video evidence.
Yeah,
Everybody else
it
witnesses.
really happens. I'm kind of between two character concepts right now. One is kind of based on Tim Allen's character from Galaxy Quest, mixed with Zaf Brannigan from Futurama. So a paladin with the noble, the knight variant background. So this way he has a few retainers that'll basically be like the Star Trek red shirts, like they'll be in red tabards. One of them I'll have like my Kith character, Zaf Brannigan's like sidekick, and then give the other two very generic names like Guy or something like that. So that would be one where like this sort of daring space ace captain sort of guy, and so that's one possibility.
That's the only possibility you should play.
Well, but the other one is like I was thinking of this like half work space reaver that like his tribe, they pilot an astral whale and like that's his totem, and so like they basically go like bungeeing off of this whale and like raiding people, and so like he ends up separated from them somehow, hurtling through space, and ends up with the main group. So kind of like an outsider type of character. So with him, I'd probably do the sailor background, like super competent as a sailor and like a kick-ass warrior.
So did you say what background you were going with? Did you say? What
Yeah,
did you tell us?
I went with Guild Artisan.
Yeah.
So my character is, for the most part, done. I'll take your advice. Actually, switch the shipwright to Navigator's Tools. But he is a Dragonborn Warlock who essentially was on a ship as the navigator.
Was it a whale?
I don't believe it was a whale.
Did an orc bungee jump onto your ship and push you off?
Well, I don't know who or what it was that did it.
If he plays the half orc, I'm having you guys go both hurtling through space together. Enemy Mine, anyone?
Yeah. What's that?
Enemy Mine?
Yeah. I don't know.
It was a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He stayed sailing. But he was just a general navigator, map maker, and his ship was attacked by pirates, and
It's funny. I happen to be a pirate.
in the battle, he was knocked off the ship, and he hears this voice: "You don't have to die." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't want to die." And lo and behold, boom! Insta Warlock. So
So you're taking the Great Old One?
Taking
kind
a
of
great
background.
old one with not going Cthulian, just going with originally it was going to be just a lost god as one of the options in the book, but Dave's
Lost in space.
like, how about some just bizarre alien creature that floats through space? And I'm like, it could be whatever you want as long as it's not like tentacles.
Ted's
Tentacles.
patron. Oh my god. Ted's patron is going to be. Give me a minute. I gotta recover from the tentacles. Ted's patron is going to be like a
You said it was a space amoeba or something like that.
no, a sentient black hole or something like that.
But since we're high enough level, one of my invocations was the ability to conjure elemental. So Dave's like, oh, I got a cool idea. What if instead of making a fire elemental or earth elemental, what if you summon a space elemental?
Oh, like a void?
Basically, it's just
So you can have a
collection of-
vacuum for you and stuff. Great. That's sweet.
So it's like, all right, you take just stat, the fire elemental, and just instead of him being fire, he's space. So you've got this essentially this black cosmic being with all this little stardust looking pattern on him, and he fights. So-
You switch everything from fire to cold.
Yeah.
Bang. I mean, I'll probably have to look over the abilities for.
Well, I mean,
fire
but
elemental.
with
So I decided-
stars, though.
I decided
with
that I
stars you
also
can
want to
do
be a
Dragonborn?
Dragonborn, Great Old One Packed, Warlock.
Yeah.
Who gets to summon a space elemental? Forget that half luck guy.
Yeah.
So I've got Trock Fire Scale. He's he's got the ability to breathe his fire, and he's got a selection of spells already done. And one of the cool things about Warlock is that they can pretty much make their pact weapon if you go Blade Lock anything that they want, and they become proficient in it. So I'm like, well, I love games where you get something visual that whatever visual is meaningless, and you can just put it into the game terms. So I'm like, oh, let me concoct this cool looking weapon that's part spear, part longsword. Make it be black and cosmic looking, and poof, here you go.
A sword.
And it's going to do the D8 of a
You can catch
longsword and whatnot. It just doesn't have the cross
Well, actually,
guard.
it would do a D10 if you use it two-handed.
How about using it two-handed?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
This
using
is-
the shield.
It's a sport, whatever you want it to
Sport.
call it. Ryan may have
As
to
it
say
named
sport.
it.
Sure. No, all right, I fight with a sword.
There you go.
I think
Hey,
we
Your
don't want
nemesis
that.
is going to fight with a spork.
If I could arrange it, I'd put my arcane orb on the other end of it and
Like a lance.
rawr. Yeah. But so that's Trock Fire Scale or something like that.
Something like that.
I don't know if it's Trock or Torque. I got it written down on the character sheet already.
It's a mystery. We'll
We'll
never
find out.
know.
We'll find out Wednesday,
We will find out Wednesday.
or until I look over there on paper.
yeah. Oh no. So basically that's in a nutshell what we got going on. I know we have Mark, we have Rob coming into the game, and then I was thinking about maybe inviting one more person to make it a 6-person party.
6-pack.
Make it a 6-pack. I mean, because we could invite Pete and we could invite Scott.
Okay.
I invited our other brother, but he is working, so he will not be attending.
Okay.
So we need one more person. Anybody out there in New Jersey?
One more body.
One more body. Nah, I would like to extend the invitation to either Scott or Pete, who've graced our table recently. So I don't know.
See if anybody's
We'll
down
see
for
what
it.
happens.
We'll see what happens. So with that, leave your comments what you think of this idea.
Reaction to character concepts, this, that, and the other.
Yep. And I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe. Share.
Nerdhockey.com.
Stalk us on Facebook.
Yeah, we can check out the subreddit, Nerdarchy, How to Stay Nerdy.
So until next time, my friends,
Spelljammer
stay nerdy.
on.
Stay nerdy.